Hello everyone. Today is a review for today's market action on 12/14/2015. So as we were saying in the weekend show, we were really looking for follow through down below the 2020 level. And as you can see, the morning was quite volatile as bulls and bears had a tug of war over that level. The bulls were really trying to rally this thing right back above it and create a bearish trap. And we're really at the end of the day, at least for the morning session, unsuccessful. Instead, the bears were able to push this thing lower into the 1990 level that we were talking about, and were able to fill this unfilled down gap at 1994.24. But basically, from that gap fill, and then it's not uncommon on for gap fills to be sort of a support level. We basically the bulls really stepped up their game. They basically created this kind of inverse head and shoulders right off the gap fill, which actually acquired its target and was able to actually create a second bullish pattern with this cup and handle. And we don't like cup and handles as reversals, but after an inverse head and shoulders triggers and acquires its target, if we create a cup and handle, that's okay. So now we have a second pattern of a cup and handle. And the cup and handle was actually able to acquire its target as well. And as you can see, as it acquired its target, we had an immediate pullback in the midday session. And it actually looked like the bears wanted to try to create some distribution here and trigger a head and shoulders top. But as you can see, we ended up setting a higher low and a higher high, killing off the ability to have this pattern, and actually rallied back up to the 2020 level and a close above it. So that kind of leaves us actually in a pretty bullish posture, at least in the short term. Here, and the reason for that is because by getting back above the 2020 level, we can call this kind of an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here and right here and right here, and that's or you could call this a cup and handle. It doesn't matter. You've basically triggered two bullish patterns and completed two bullish patterns at this point, so we can call this kind of a cup and handle. Either way, this swing high is our calculation. And we basically have that gives us a target up at 2043, 2043.24, and we do have an unfilled gap at 2052. Now, just to put kind of things in perspective here, the 2042 level. I'm going to bring this onto a 15-minute chart. As you can see, the 2042 level really coincides really nicely with the 61.8 Fibonacci retrace of this swing move. So if we were to take this high, this swing high, and this swing low, we have a breakout of the inverse head and shoulders, and with a target of 2043. It's just above that 61.8 Fibonacci retrace of this swing move. So really, not really out of the question to see this kind of oversold bounce out of oversold conditions into that target at all. That would still, bullish posture here, but it would still leave us with a lower high and a lower low on a swing time frame. If we bring this up here, clean this up real quick. So that that 2043 could still be a lower high. When we could see the resistance levels kind of in this 2040 level. If we draw this out here for a second, that's sort of been that level of support, and now kind of maybe potentially resistance on a bounce into that level. So assuming we acquire that target, I'll be looking for some weakness at that as that target gets acquired, for a rollback over and a retest of the 61.8 fib of this move. So at the end of the day, we have a bullish pattern that was triggered and is in motion. We're back above the 2020 level, and the target on that move is up at the 2043, which is a Fibonacci, a 61.8 fib retrace of this down move. Or of the recent down move. So, for me, I'm going to be long this market, as long as we are above the, let me bring it into a smaller time, a shorter time frame. As long as we are above this swing high at 1825, we can be long into 2043. I will definitely take my profits right at that level because, as I've shown you, we know what happens when targets get acquired. They typically pull back. So maybe we get up to that level and immediately roll right back over. We shall see, and I'm sure there will be some price action to give us a clue. But that's my plan. Again, above 1825, I'm long, and I'm looking for a target of 2043. Let's just look at the on the daily view real quick before we finish up for the day. The oversold conditions we're talking about, you can see here, 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 and here, and they all coincided with pretty solid bounces. If I delete, so we can see that all of these bounces from oversold conditions and what they looked like. So they're very possible that we see something like this before, potentially a rollback over. We can also say that this was at the end of the day, this was actually a red dog reversal that we talk about sometimes, and that is that we make a move below the previous day's low, and this works very well after a sell-off like this. We move down below the previous day's low, and then actually recapture it and close above it. That's the same thing that we did down here that started this rally. So, have to be aware of those kind of things. It's very possible that, we can go even higher than the 2043. But, the current price action is suggesting that as our immediate target. Well, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hope you have a good night. See you tomorrow.